Hey guys, Thomas Jr. here, aka Mustached Tom, here back with an actual other movie review, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So, spoilers ahead. So, we begin this movie with the flashback on Earth in 1999, where we see Star-Lord's dad hook up with Star-Lord's mom. Then we skip to 34 years later, where the team is getting ready to take on this squid-like monster, and Baby Groot starts to play music while the others are arguing about stuff, and they start fighting the monster while we focus on Baby Groot dancing. So after Gamora takes it out after a bit, they accept their reward by talking to these golden-like figure creatures, and for whatever reason they have Gamora's sister. I don't know why, but anyway, uh, they went to get her to keep her captive, and then they find out that Raccoon stole some golden batteries, and then they eventually gave chase, but then their ship crashed after they fended them off, and then Star Lord meets his dad, and then they start to uh, advance toward him. We get a quick Howard the Duck cameo again here. I assume they're trying to still push that movie. I don't know if that's going to be a thing or not, but anyway. Quill, the blue guy, is talking with Stallone's character. I don't remember his name, but whatever. Anyways, we follow the crew as the banter between the members, how Rocket's always called various names and stuff like that. It happens throughout the movie. And we meet this character named Mantis, who is helping out with Drax, saying that Star-Lord's father is doing more than meets the eye. So that's slowly but surely happening over time. And then she says that, Star-Lord is in love with Gamora, and all that boils up and causes even more tension, I guess. Unnecessary tension, but anyway. So we see that Quill is stopping them, his crew, once they have Rocket, because the Rocket pretty much took out a good chunk of his squad by knocking them out. But they ask if he's still in the leadership role. So eventually they cause a mutiny of some sorts. And while that happens, what's her name? Gamora's sister. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but she's that robot-like creature with the blue. She also is blue. Anyways, she's like raging out and stuff. And we see her come back later. We have a pretty funny moment where Rocket's trying to fend off against Taserface, and then eventually later in the cell we see him and Quill getting along pretty nicely, but that that needs for the Baby Groot to get the right thing, and then he keeps having to go back. As I mentioned, Mantis says that they're in trouble, and we get an interesting Stan Lee cameo in this movie, which is odd. He ends up like in this space suit talking to some important figures. I don't know who. Anyway, the father of Star-Lord says he wants to consume all the planets, be everything, essentially. So Star-Lord eventually figures out that it was his father that took out his mother. So that brings him back into reality, which helps him stop his father from making this blue, like, gloop spread across the Earth and all their planets, and so they essentially have to fight off his father, and the crew has to help him. And they're slowly but surely starting to get more people as Gamora finally makes up with her sister after nearly killing each other. Uh, and then Groot took the bomb that Rocket made, and you saw that in the trailer where he kept wanting to press the wrong button, but I think he was pretty much trolling Rocket because he ended up pressing the right button. So the two sisters finally make up. Star-Lord fights off his father while the others start to retreat. But Quill stays behind as well, and spoiler alert, he essentially sacrifices himself afterwards to save Star-Lord. So yes, they battle it out with the father. Star-Lord uses Pac-Man power, essentially. That was a very interesting thing right there. Getting the rights to use Pac-Man in this movie, but anyway, they essentially have Groot do his thing. The place blows up. Quill saves Star-Lord, sends him up, and we see that Quill essentially gave Star-Lord this one last gift before his parting, which was a little product placement for the Zune. And we see that Quill's crew is out there supporting his goodbye. So the after credit sequence isn't anything I recognize personally. I'm sure it's in the comics or something, but we see that the golden main lady is awakened something. I don't remember what it was called. I think she called it Adam. So that was the after credit sequence, and overall, I thought this is a pretty solid sequel. Sorry, a pretty solid sequel to Guardians of the Galaxy. It has its moments like between Rocket and Quill, and those moments were pretty strong. I felt the other moments were a little bit more sacrificed at times. I felt like that happened a little bit more between Star-Lord and Gamora, because Gamora had to spend more time with her sister, fighting her off and all that stuff. So that's fine. So yeah, pretty solid. Setup sequel to, I guess there's going to be a volume 3 most likely at some point. But anyways, I give it a 7 out of 10. I thought it was a pretty solid movie, generally speaking. I don't know. I probably would still choose the first movie, but it has been a while, so this is more fresh in my mind. But still, if you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. It's definitely a pretty solid sequel. Pretty interesting setup to whatever's happening next, and yeah. So that's my review. So, if you enjoyed it, please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, everyone, bye!